Sitting here in front of Southern University in Collegedale, Tennessee, and my wife and I are homeschooling our kids today. My wife is over there with my daughter. My sons just finished their schoolwork. My older son basically worked together, and I helped my younger son do some reading. And we rode our bikes here, and we basically ride a little bit and then school a little bit and ride a little bit and school a little bit. But what I want to talk to you about for a moment is what it feels like and what it's like to be a homeschooling dad. And there's kind of two things that I want to share with you that are very exciting. The first thing is kind of ironic. So the internet right now is full of people who are trying to tell other people how to live. Oh, I wish Republicans wouldn't be like this. They should be more like me. Oh, I wish Democrats wouldn't be like that. I wish they'd be more like me. And everyone's trying to, and the internet is just full of people trying to convince other people to think like they think and to see the world as they see the world. And if you're like me, you've noticed that it's very unlikely that one adult convinces another adult to change his view on something specifically. It's very hard to even get someone who likes Chevys to buy a Ford. And yet to try and convince someone who likes communism about capitalism or capitalism about communism or religion or political views, I mean, it's almost impossible. And what you see all over the internet is people saying like, I just wish there were more people in the world who were this way or that way. And very often what they're saying is, I wish there was more people in the world like me. And what I want to share with you is that being a dad or a mom, or perhaps in a more intense way, being a homeschooling parent, gives you a chance to do just that. It gives you a chance to raise children who will someday be adults, who will think and act in the way that you think is best. Now, of course, we could get into the topic of indoctrination or brainwashing or something like that. And certainly I'll be accused of that at some point in my life. But to put it less negatively, I am doing my best to raise my children to become the type of adults that I wish the world was full of. And if your children are still at the age where they look up to you and admire you and are interested in what you say, you have this golden opportunity, instead of trying to convert 40-year-old people to change the aisle that they sit on or the religion they believe or what they think about how the government should control money. You have this opportunity at a young age to teach your children the way that the world ought to be and the way that they ought to act. And of course they'll deviate from that at times, as we all deviate from our own ethics and morals. But the point is, you get to teach it. And one of the things that you want to be careful about doing is indoctrinating or brainwashing them. You want to teach them, you want to teach them that there are other ways and other ways of thinking. And just this morning, I was teaching the children about capitalism and communism. And my daughter made a comment about how, money being taken from the rich and given to the poor sounds like a really good idea. And I agreed with her. But we also talked about the mechanics of communism and sort of how it's done through force and things like that. And so you just have these wonderful conversations. The last thing that I want to do, hang on a second, I'm trying to use it. No, I want to use it.
Why?
I'm trying to say something. Go away. My goodness. The last thing that's really fun, I'm helping my son with today's lesson was about tally marks and the value of tally marks and counting to fives. And one of the things that they want you to do is count the number of shapes and do the tally marks, right? It's very simple. But what's not clear is if when you go to count the triangles, they want you to count just these three, or if they want you to recognize that inside the triangle is many more triangles. And so we went through a long exercise of counting up, we went through a long exercise of counting up all the little triangles in this triangle and recognizing that this has a bunch of other triangles in it. And we made our own example of that here. And what's really fun about teaching your kids things is that you know your children's potential and you know what they're capable of probably better than anyone. And so if you're doing this and your child is just capable of recognizing that there's three, well, then you teach him that there's three and you write that down. But if you recognize that this material is a little easy for him and he can understand more, then you can take him to that next layer, that next depth. And that's really fun and rewarding. And I would argue that no one can do that with your child better than you as a parent because no one knows them better than you do. Not to mention, in a classroom, the teacher probably doesn't have time to individualize the lesson for every student. And that's no criticism for teachers, by the way. That's just the mechanics of the classroom. So anyway, if being a homeschool parent is discouraging to you or not interesting to you, I just want to show you how exciting and fun it can be, how challenging it can be, and how you'll get your chance to teach some future adults about how the world works, how they should act and interact with it. And that's a very fulfilling and satisfying thing. And so if you've gotten a college degree and you feel like homeschooling would be a waste of that degree, I just want to assure you that it won't be. All right, folks, take care.